Chapter 5. Mardella. I was alone in the break room. I had lost track of time during my shift and missed my allotted break time. I might not have realized it all if my stomach hadn't grumbled loud enough for my shift supervisor to dismiss me to eat. I still hesitated because leaving the blood lab meant being on my own and not having the vampire thief in my sights. I knew it was him. His dark hair pulled in a low ponytail, his porcelain skin that seemed to glisten in the sterile light, the way he carried himself, tall and with elegant poise. It was exactly as he'd walked through the alleyways. I hadn't confronted him yet, mostly because I did not know what to say or what to do, but I did not want to give him the upper hand. I had been terrified the night before, casting out a defense spell to keep him away. My heart had thumped in my chest as if it knew each pump might be its last. But he hadn't attacked me, nor drained me of my blood. Instead, he had asked to talk. A ruse? That's what I had thought. But today he still had not sought me out. Did he not recognize me? No, he had seen me clearly. He had openly stared at me in the alleyway, making me squirm under his dark gaze. I was sure in that moment he was about to devour me. Imagine if I hadn't been a witch. I sent a silent thank you to my mother for indoctrinating me when she did into witchcraft. Witches, unlike other supernatural creatures that roam the world, were entirely genetically human. There was nothing that would differentiate my body from that of my roommate Marie, who was perfectly ordinary. No, witchcraft wasn't something a person was born into, although having a witch in the family certainly helped. The ability to use magic had everything to do with skill and aptitude. Some children were more gifted than others, just as some kids were naturally good with numbers while others made masterpieces with a brush. Magic was just another subject that students could latch onto at a young age if they possessed the right sensibilities. I remembered my mother testing me when I was very little. My father was already long gone. I don't think I ever even saw his face. I didn't know if he was a witch as well, nor would my mother tell me if I asked. I always assumed he wasn't, from the way she tested me when I was a child. From the way she tested me when I was little. A child of two witches would almost certainly carry a sense for magic in their brain, or at least be able to catch on quite quickly. One of mixed lines still had a reasonable chance, since even families without any witches could produce a special child. In these cases, it was best to act early to hone magical skills. Children were sponges with magic. Humans believed witchcraft was genetic, because most witches came from witch-heavy families. But in truth, it was just because these families made it a priority to expose all their children to magic in order to better hone their skills during that precious window of time. My mother must have feared I might not have any magical aptitude because she started me very early. She would cast spells in the air, invisible to the human eye, to see if I was drawn to them. She would draw pictures in the air of cute kittens, of dragons and knights, and I would clap and giggle. She always looked so relieved to see me react. It was one thing to be able to sense magic, but another thing entirely to harness it. There were plenty of humans who could sense it and went about their lives under specific aliases, psychics, mediums, etc. Harnessing magic was what made a witch a witch.